going into it there. What's
interesting.
it?
Wait, I was talking. Don't you think it's interesting that that Republicans won in every other race? They gained how many? 4 seats in the House?
Yeah.
And
an insane turnout of voters.
The downvotes weren't there, and it was probably because of mistakes that Biden made.
No, it's probably
during
because
the
of cheating. It was probably because of cheating.
Oh, the only reason is because
I
they're
think it's
cheating.
because of cheating.
No, it's
Yeah,
because
Are you people gonna? What are you gonna like? Just run away and disappear off the internet when it comes out you're wrong, or are you just gonna act like you didn't sit here and act like an idiot the whole time? I'm really curious.
Again, we're back to that, aren't we? If I
the point
turn
is,
out
Jim,
to be right, if I can produce evidence that actually shows that I'm correct, what then?
Wait. I'm not even claiming one way or the other, though. That's what makes you people zealots.
You did. You literally just said that
just
Trump blew him out of
assume
the
you're
water.
right.
There is objectively, in the standard of court, there's an objective probable cause articulated already with circumstantial and testimony evidence. Now, when it comes to a murder, when it comes to a rape, when it comes to any other crime, that's objectively one of the best forms of evidence you can have. First-hand eyewitness testimony on a sworn affidavit that are sworn in under threats of perjury. Now, I know lawyers, I know judges, we all know factually that's one of the most credible, best pieces of damning evidence you can have. That exists in abundance right now to articulate probable cause to go get the evidence. You people are going to sit by and cheer on, not even allowing us to go find out what the truth is. We're not saying we want the election stole from Biden illegally. We want to know what the truth is. You people should agree with that, but you don't because you're biased and you don't want to know what the truth is.
I haven't said that at all. I mean, I watched that press conference that Rudy Giuliani gave, and I found it shocking, the things that they were saying.
Right.
And some of those things are the sort of things that I hear every day. And you think, when you hear it, it's something that could be true, but you think, that doesn't sound very likely. And there were a number of... Hold on. There were a number of things like that I heard that I thought, surely that can't be true. Like, for instance, one of them was that there were officials there who were going with voters and coaching them on how to vote. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound like, that's an activity that would escape the notice of people who are watching. Or
they weren't allowed to watch.
Or other voters even, or other people that are there. So,
well, Brenda will say that's okay, though. That it doesn't matter that they coached them.
Hold on! You talk a lot, Witsit. Just let me get through a couple of things. So that's just one example of the sorts of things that they were saying where I thought, that doesn't sound very likely. This thing about this truck pulling up as well. It just doesn't sound right, And then there were other things they said that were blatantly untrue. This thing about Dominion having connections with, or the owners being Venezuelan or having connections with Venezuela. That's not true of Dominion.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's true of the other system. What's it called? Is it Smartmatic or something? I can't remember what the other.
Oh yeah, who makes
owned...
Smartmatic machines? Who makes them?
They're not made in Venezuela. But
who makes Smartmatic machines?
Though.
Yeah, they use Dominion servers in the Venezuelan election. That's objective.
No, that's not. That's not true.
Dominion.
Brenda, you lie about everything. No one cares what you have to say.
Well, Dominion say that they're fierce competitors of Smartmatic. So
they use their software, Jim.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
Well,
doesn't that seem like a big piece of information here?
Well, is there evidence to support that? I mean, I'll have a look, but it doesn't. If they're fierce competitors, it doesn't sound likely that they're using the same.
Yeah, but
software.
Jim, bro, do you think that they just came out and made up all that shit in the press conference, dude? Is that what you actually think? Is that what you think is possible? That they just made up all of it?
He said some of it. He said some.
No, but I'm just asking, because if even just part of what they said is true, that's enough evidence to go look into it. If just one thing they said is true, one thing, that's enough evidence for them to go look into it. So the question is, did they blatantly lie about everything?
I don't know if they blatantly...
He never said that.
I
know. I'm just trying to reason with
You're just trying to strawman me. I know.
No, I'm not trying to strawman you. I'm asking you. If I was talking to Brenda, I would talk under the assumption. I'm asking you.
I feel that they said some things which to me seemed unlikely to be true, with just
Sure.
on the face of it.
Well,
And
I
they
agree with
said-
you on that, dude.
And they said some things which were untrue when I went and checked them.
I don't agree with you on that, but I agree with you on the fact that some of it on the face just seems preposterous. I mean, they're saying that, like, they're literally saying there's a source code that can manipulate the electronic voting tabulation across the entire nation and that it's centralized outside of America. Yeah, that sounds like a fucking movie, dude. That sounds so preposterous. The fact that that was even the mere possibility. Brenda, shut up. I'm still talking. The mere possibility that that was even maybe happening, the mere possibility, we should go look into it. Like, that's just objective. We should all agree on that. And the Democrats don't want to look into it. They're actually fighting in court to not even let the evidence be heard. Now, if you didn't cheat and you know there's no fraudulent activity, why would you ever care? You would want to rush it through the courts to go ahead and validate Joe Biden as fast as possible. But they're literally fighting it tooth and nail to not even let the cases be heard. Now, is that not a pretty guilty type of thing to do, maybe?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much that's happening, but I know that a lot of these cases are being heard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, because, like, the Democrats don't run the world, but they're actually filing injunctions to try to fight the court cases. And the question is, if you weren't lying about anything and you didn't have anything to hide and you didn't cheat in the election at all, why would you not actually want to promote it and rush it through?
Would you be this passionate about this if it was Trump that won and the left was saying that there was
of course. I don't even think the election is real. The point is that people do think it's real, and they go out there and they do it the right way, right? Like, they work hard, they pay their taxes, they have a right to vote, they register, they go stand in line all day, then they make their vote one single time, right? You're watering down the importance of those votes and the right they have as Americans when you start flooding votes in there 4 or 5 times at a time.
There's no evidence that anybody was disenfranchised.
You're just going to keep saying the same dumb thing CNN says, Brenda? Is that all you got?
All I ever get to say. That's all I ever get to say is the first sentence.
Disenfranchised because they showed up to vote in person and they were told they already voted by mail, and they said they didn't vote by mail, and they said, well, you can fill out the what's it called, ballot?
Provisional ballot.
Provisional ballot.
Yeah.
So there are incidents of people being disenfranchised where their vote didn't count, and that doesn't say they're a Democrat or a Republican. It just said that somebody else voted for them.
There were 15,000 provisional ballots in, like, Detroit alone. Okay, and that means that 15,000 people forgot they voted and went in there and tried to vote again. Now that checks out, huh? That checks out.
So a lot of this was shown to be just incompetence on the part of Rudy Giuliani. For instance, they said that there was 3,000 precincts in Michigan that were where votes were 99% of all were up to 300%, and were.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Wow.
He literally didn't say that, Brenda.
It was a place. There's one big, huge story that probably hasn't been told too much, but there was a whole race that got flipped because somebody inaccurately, supposedly, entered in the wrong numbers or whatever, and the Republican that had already conceded that he lost the race ended up winning.
So
yeah, I mean, there's evidence of cheating, but Brenda doesn't want to know the truth because her candidate won.
So the claims made in Michigan were shown to be false because the Giuliani campaign did not know that MN meant Minnesota and not Michigan.
Wow, dude, you probably read that on. I guess you read that on CNN or something.
You really think that he didn't know?
Rudy Giuliani has a higher IQ than you, though, Brenda. So I think it's ironic that you're trying to talk about his incompetence.
Yes.
I find that to be very rich and ironic.
Did not mean Michigan.
Yes, he didn't.
You really think that?
Yes.
Brenda, shut up.
Single-handedly took down the mafia. You think didn't know the difference between Michigan and Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Yes.
Technical mistake. It happens. It's all good. But the main thing is there are people saying, there was a lady saying that my mom just died. And I went to see if there was a record of her voting, and there was a record of her voting based off of what she was implying. It was a dead person vote after her mother had died, and they were still mourning for her. So that's a form of disenfranchisement when your vote is invalidated by a box of fake votes for, this candidate or that candidate. So either way, somebody needs to get to the bottom of this.
Oh, and voter fraud's been going on in like Philadelphia and Detroit for years and been known about for a long time. But let me guess, that's not true either, Brenda, huh?
I've got.
Wait, no, Brenda, is that true? Yes or no?
Oh God.
Yeah,
It's
objective.
This is like closed psych ward today.
Yeah, there you go. Don't
No,
ever answer.
no.
Don't ever answer the questions, Brenda. Make
Well,
sure you
why
keep
don't you
exposing
ask it in just a reasonable way? Why is it gotta be
Okay,
barked
it's been
at people?
known for
He's
years that
upset. He's upset, Jim. He's
The only
passionate
one
about
that
this.
should be
So-
in psych ward is
Yeah, but
Brendan with
He's
his
like this
body
all the
dysmorphia.
time, though.
that's not true.
So people,
No.
well, you guys insult, so I get to do it back.
I
You give me-
don't
know,
believe in insulting people about this.
Well,
I wanted
they
to.
have-
I
they
wanted
have-
to ask a Twitter question, though, if I could, which was, you were speaking highly of Rudy Giuliani there, and just that. Well, it seemed like you were, at least to some extent. Do you think there was that press conference in particular? I don't know how much of it you saw, but don't you think there was like a weird? It was weird.
I think he reminds me a lot of like when Whitsitt gets old, how he's going to be about things. When Whitsitt's 80 years old, he's going to still be just as passionate. It's going to seem weird coming from, an old person.
Right.
He's old and he's very passionate about these things, and I think he makes me cringe every time he talks. But he's not stupid. He's by no means a stupid man. And he one that found got a hold of Hunter Biden's laptop, and nobody's listening to him. We have straight up evidence that there's something fishy going on with his father and him in
he's got
China.
connect.
Most political observers feel that he's just fleecing his constituents for one last dime to pay for his legal offenses. That's because he's broke.
That's why he
No,
dropped $3 million.
Brenda, you always have the dumbest things to say. Like, what was that? What the fuck was that, Brenda?
Yeah,
I think
got a
as well,
question.
not just him. I
$1
think
million
that
from filing the
they.
recount in Wisconsin. So there goes that.
I
argument.
think-
I can't hear you.
I said he dropped $3 million on filing the recount in Wisconsin.
Okay, so broke.
Yeah, I've got a question. Whitsitt, you don't believe the government? You don't believe people's votes count for anything anyway, though, do you?
Well, because they control both the candidates.
Right. So this would be pre-planned then, wouldn't it?
Well, they count yeah, actually, that's my take. Yeah, this is all pre-planned.
Right.
They're going to announce that
So
Trump
them
won.
so them declaring Biden as the winner would have been pre-planned then, wouldn't it?
I think it was, yeah, and they're going to
So
come
how
out.
could there be
And,
any voter fraud?
so
then?
why the fuck are you asking me questions?
Well, how could there be any voter fraud then? If it's all
How
pre-planned.
the fuck can I answer a question if you just keep interrupting me?
Yeah, ask him a question, let him answer.
Okay, so yeah, in my opinion, the votes don't really matter because they control both of the candidates. And yes, I think this was all planned. So they're going to expose all the fraudulent holes in the current election system. Then everyone will be on board on both sides to agree that we need to update the election system because the Pentagon's been working for years on getting ready to update the election system.
So if it was pre-planned, why would
I
they
feel like
announce
they
any
control
voter fraud
Trump
anyway?
less, though.
So why would they?
Yeah, I agree.
Why would they announce any voter fraud if it was all pre-planned?
They have to show the fraudulent nature of the election to justify replacing the system.
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
all the
Isn't
elections-
It's called the
just
Hegelian dialectic.
Isn't
all the
Isn't it just
elections
all
were
part of the
pre-planned.
illusion? Isn't this
So-
all just part of the illusion to give us the feeling that we actually have a choice?
Yeah, that's a big part
Isn't
of it.
this all part of the puppet show?
So
That's what
why
I see it.
Why even if it's all pre-planned and they don't have to change the system? Why do they have to change the system if it's all pre-planned?
They do have to change the system because right now it's because right now like people really go in there and vote, and if people were like, oh, we just want to use paper votes, those really could count. So what they want to do
don't
is
care about people's votes.
I guess you
do
just
they?
already fucking know everything. So stop
Well, they
asking me
don't care
questions because I'm
about
not
the
talking to you
votes,
anymore.
do they?
They're
Bullshit.
trying to curtail our freedoms, bro. They want
Yeah,
to.
this would cost
the
you-
But
universal global income and so the minimum
They've
global
been
income.
doing
and
that for
stuff like
years,
that.
though, because votes don't count. So if they've been doing it for years and it's worked up to now, why have they got to change the system? Why have they got to announce this voter fraud?
No,
This
because
kind
the
of-
voting
oh.
system is more valid right now. They want an entire monolith of an electronic system that's the same in every state. That's what the Pentagon says. Let me guess. You know more about the Pentagon's plans.
Well, you say the Pentagon lies, so you telling me that you believe in their lies now? Then?
You have to go find this. They're trying to search for contractors.
Well, is it a lie then, or is it the truth, Witsy? Because I'm getting mixed messages. One minute they're always lying to us, the next minute you're citing them as evidence that they're telling that they have to change the system.
I never said that everything the government says is a lie. I never said that.
Right.
Except when
Right. This is just like NASA gives us temperature readings. That's not a lie.
Bias, then, Witsy. So it's only the things that you want to support your evidence.
You're making like a 5-year-old caliber argument right now. You know that?
Have you listened to
Yeah, he is. I never said that everything the government says is a lie. I never said that.
Let's go through your position.
So how do you determine which things are lies and which
You
aren't?
have to critically assess them, and you don't just blindly believe them.
Okay. So
But you people believe them until they tell you they lied.
Take us through your reasoning on
even
this.
then,
Why
sometimes
do you
they don't
believe?
believe it.
Why do you believe this piece of information from the Pentagon? Then
Because it's hard to find it, and when you do find it, you see that they've been searching or shopping for contracts with certain companies to update the election system for more than 2 years now. Microsoft is at the top of the list. So when Pentagon releases information about how they have plans to update certain parts of the infrastructure, they actually do end up updating it. It's not the same as them telling me we landed on a fucking moon rock that literally couldn't happen. It's not the same at all.
But why do you believe them? Why do you just said what they're saying, but why do you believe what they're saying?
No. I've just explained why there's a logical framework of why that they would be orchestrating this so that they can justify and get the demand of the American people through the Hegelian dialectic to demand a new system that they're conveniently already working on behind the scenes for years now.
Yeah, but they don't care about what the American public think.
Well, you're not from America, so we don't care what you think.
Well, they don't give a fuck about what you think.
But good thing that what you think literally doesn't have any bearing on it.
Fuck about whether you thought it was a legitimate system or not. Why not just change it how they want? They don't give a fuck.
Because they want to. No,
they killed 3,000 of their own citizens on 9/11, according to you.
Yeah. So you don't know how anything works.
Fuck about a no mark like you, with it.
You don't know how anything works. So they have to coax compliance of the people. Keep interrupting me, please, though. So I'll just talk over you then. So it's called the Hegelian dialectic. So it's problem reaction solution. The best way to successfully control a group of people is holy fucking shit, dude.
What do you think?
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's just what he's heard from
curious
Alex.
what you think it is, Witsit.
I just said problem reaction solution in layman terms.
Next time you
create the problem and you have the solution that you want people to use. It's a form of manipulation where you create problems.
What is it in non-layman's terms?
Dude, get out here with your test.
Yeah, so anyway, the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. You introduce a problem, guiding the reaction to the preferred solution you already had in plan the whole time. This is a tactic that goes back many years. It's fucking literally not debatable, but you people are just desperate to say I'm wrong about something.
Well, it's just wrong, though. How about thesis, antithesis, and synthesis? Does that sound more reasonable?
How about, Scott, you stop wasting time with your little pop quizzes, okay?
That's what Hegel actually wrote about.
Small dick energy, for real.
That's what Hegel actually wrote.
Are you saying that it isn't problem, reaction, solution?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, so you people are just dumb.
Well, it is.
I'm saying I actually read Hegel.
All right, then.
But I don't think they like you, so they're going to try to hang you on semantics and play, dumb and obfuscate.
We're just like
So they're going to be a little bit obtuse about it.
Well, he was just actually quoting Hegel. He was just actually quoting Hegel.
I said the Hegelian dialectic.
You don't know what it is, and he just showed that you don't know what it is.
How do I not know what it is? I said the layman's term is problem, reaction, solution.
He doesn't know that form that he put out. That is, I guess, more textbook, but the basic...
Oh, the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis? Yeah, we all know it. And we all know objectively that the layman terms recollection is problem, reaction, solution. I'm not playing your little games. Because you people are desperate to try to get a gotcha because you can't argue the actual argument. But hey, that's what you do every day here, every single day.
Low-hanging fruit, hey?
So anyway, problem, reaction, solution, they've created the problem of the fraudulent nature of the election being exposed. They're guiding our reaction. We're getting pissed. They've put us into two groups in a binary. Some people don't care because they're biased like Brenda. Some people do want to know the truth. They're going to make everyone mad when they come out and say, look how much this has been manipulated from a centralized power outside of America. We need to take it back. The solution is we need a new system. They already have the new system.
Well, you got to control both sides. Really, they want everything digitized and online anyway, so it could be like you say, but we'll have to see what's going on with this recount thing.
All I can say, Witsit, is I've been reading Reason magazine, which is not a lefty publication by far. Talking no, it isn't. Reason magazine, it's libertarian. They're right wing. So I've been reading Reason magazine's article on the affidavits, and they say something completely different than what you're saying.
Okay, that's a cool story. So have you read the affidavits? There's a literal affidavit you can go look up yourself that's publicly accessible that's about a Democrat that was in a precinct coached to cheat. Your response is, well, that doesn't prove they cheated. Well, that's right, Brenda. It's called probable cause being articulated in the court of law, and then you get access to go. It's just like whenever you have a murder suspect, or let's say a drug dealer, what the cops do is they go to the judge, they give them probable cause evidence that they're dealing drugs. Okay, we see tons of people coming in and out of the house. They're not in there for more than 2 minutes at a time. We have probable cause this person's committing drugs. We pulled someone over that pulled away from there. They had drugs on them. Okay, we have probable cause, judge. Then the judge gives them a warrant, and they go look in the house, and they go find out if he's selling drugs. This is the part where you go to the judge and get the warrant. You're trying to say we shouldn't be allowed to get the warrant. That's what you're
So
saying.
you trust the courts now, Witsit?
Well, the court system itself isn't that bad. Most people just don't know how to utilize it.
Oh, well, the government don't run the courts then?
Well, you're an idiot, dude.
Well, I'm asking you, don't the governments run the courts?
No, if you think in such like holistic binaries, that's not my problem.
So the courts are independent of the government in the USA then?
Yeah, again, if you think in holistic binaries, that's your problem.
Well, can't you just answer the question?
Yeah, I just did. The system itself isn't that bad. People know how to utilize it, so they go in there and they don't understand that they can actually state, look, dude, I didn't commit a crime unless I damaged property. People don't know that. People let them get detained without that. People get arrested without articulating their rights. They go to court, they just get a lawyer, they just assume that they have to plea out. People don't know the system, but if they did know the system, yes, they could use it to their effect, to their benefit, and they would be able to much easily maneuver.
Go against the government narrative then?
What?
So the court could go against the government narrative then?
Yeah, the way the court is set up, yeah, it's for the people.
So the court could declare that the government are telling the world, everyone, that the Earth's flat, but it's not. So they could.
Well, yeah, but almost every judge is a Mason. Why? And that's not their job. Why would they come out?
Judges are Masons. So that means they're untrustworthy then.
The judges are, yeah, but the system itself.
You just said the system.
The way the system is set up is a good thing, but it's being abused.
It fucking makes sense to you, Witsit.
You're just very, very low IQ.
You're trying to get him on fake binary and not allowing him to move on.
What do you think the Earth's flat, dude?
What's wrong with that? That the system's good, but the people.
Because I just asked him, and he said the courts weren't that bad, and he just said to me that the people who give out the verdicts from the court are Masons, which makes them dishonest. So
but I said if you know how to utilize the system, the judge can't get you because you know your rights. You're an idiot. The judge can't sentence you if you know your rights and how to use the system.
Right now.
The judge can't get you if you know your rights and how to utilize the system.
Please muzzle this animal until he learns to behave. Nobody can have a discussion with him cutting in on top of everyone.
He's cutting me off, Curved. What are you talking about?
Stop talking.
No, Mark asked me a question. I went to answer it. Then he interrupted me again. 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 Now you jump in and say I'm the one interrupting because you're dumb.
Get off of whatever the fuck you're on. What's it?
I don't do drugs. I hate drugs.
I didn't say drugs. I didn't limit it to drugs. Whatever the fuck is wrong with you?
You said whatever I'm on.
So let's get back to the.
No, I'm not talking to you anymore because every time I answer, you cut me off.
Oh wow. So
did you not hear what I just said? I'm not talking to you anymore. Did you miss that part?
You're not talking to me no more.
Just to be. I don't want to have to say this again or anything like that. It's not just you, but please don't interrupt anybody anymore. You have the floor, and I don't know if you are aware of that, but you have the fucking floor. So there's no reason to have to interrupt anybody. You're going to have an opportunity to speak. Don't interrupt anybody anymore. Man.
All right, Kosho, but do you agree that dude asked me a question, I went to answer it, and he just kept fucking interrupting me 5 times in a row? Because that's what happened. So.
Right, we're back to the discussion then. So the courts then independent of the government in your country?
Yeah.
Okay, so the system itself, the court system itself, it's actually set up for the people. If the people know how to utilize it, then they'll be able to actually maneuver it very successfully. If they don't, which most people don't, then they don't even need to buy a lawyer, get a lawyer, for example. People just think they have to have one. That's not true. You can represent yourself, right? You have rights as an American citizen, but if you actually absorb the word citizen or human instead of man, they got you under jurisdiction right there. Now, if the judge can implement a penalty on you if you're found guilty through your compliance of misinterpreting the system. But if you know how the system is actually set up since its origin, then you can maneuver it more smoothly, and the judge won't be able to implement false things onto you or like totalitarian measurements of taking your freedom away exactly, or etc., because you know how to manipulate the system. So the point is, the system itself, the way the structure is set up, is actually made for the people, but it's abused by powerful people, and people are so ignorant that they go in there and they just don't know what they're doing.
So can the judge declare something that's going to go against the government's narrative?
What if they had a case about the government, I guess?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. The other idiot was talking.
Yeah, if they had a case about the government, it happens all the time.
Right then. So what's the point of telling me that they're Masons then?
I would just say most judges are Masons.
So they're going against what the government said them then, because the government must be instructing them.
The only time they go against what the government says is whenever a governmental case is put in front of them, and then they have to pick one of the way. Sometimes they pick the way that's against the government.
Like voter fraud.
Voter fraud?
Well, that'd be a government, wouldn't it? Well, that'd be a government issue, wouldn't it? Voter fraud.
Yeah, but the thing is, these judges have to maintain their reputation of not being biased. The judges have to maintain their reputation of not being biased. So if something's overtly obvious that
not being biased, you just said that was Masons. Masons have to be biased.
I know, but you're not very good at listening. I just said they have to maintain stop interrupting me. Coach, where are you at, man?
Well, no, you fucking talk for 10 minutes at a time, Witsit, for fuck's sake. Ramble on like some fucking drunkard or something.
You guys are on your own. I'm not really going to mod or whatever, so...
Yeah, until Austin says something, then I'll mod.
Mark Taylor has more mods than I do.
The why?
And he's right. You talk for 2 minutes, man. So either you make your point shorter, or you let him speak, man.
Bro, did you know that?
Bitch.
Like it's
How
ridiculous.
many mods do we have in here?
Obviously, Mike's a faggot and Becky's a cunt then. Giggle some more, Becky.
Okay, good one, Mr. Old Boomer that hates his life.
Don't worry, I'm going to stir them up.
Cool, guys. When you guys wake up and realize that it's not just none of this shit is as serious as any of you guys are making it.
Hands off the snakey.
So you're an apathetic, lost, materialistic moron.
I don't care about your conversation with Mr. Mark Taylor, man.
Well, I can't have the conversation because he interrupts me every time, so I'm disengaging.
Yeah, I've been looking into this claim about this woman being told to do things with it, and the facts don't check out with what you said.
Well, you want to be more specific, like an adult for once in your life?
Yeah. So Miss Jacob said that she was instructed to ignore the signatures and not check them. Correct?
Yes, she was taught. She was taught about a certain new way to look at the signatures. Yeah.
Not to look at the signatures, and it turns out that the reason is because that task had already been performed by Detroit City clerks at a previous location. So the
but that's not how it's supposed to work, though.
That's how it worked at this
time. That's illegal, Brenda. That's illegal, Brenda.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Do you have evidence, Brendan, that they checked at that different precinct?
It was at Detroit. It was at Detroit City. The Detroit City clerks.
Do you have evidence that they actually did that, though?
This is in the Reason article. They're quoting people.
So are you going to read the affidavit, or are you just going to keep being a biased loser?
I'm just telling you that the facts don't out to what you say.
Well, actually, the facts, you haven't read them yet because you haven't read the actual affidavit yet. So you have no idea what the facts are.
Looking at the Reason article, it says, while working at the TCF Center, Jacob said she was told not to check signatures, right? And she said supervisors instructed her to predate ballots. Evidence offered by State Elections Director Christopher Thomas said, however, there was no need to compare signatures because they had already been reviewed and determined at the Detroit election headquarters on West Grand Boulevard. So it had already.
But that's not how that works, though. The whole reason it's set up the way it is because if some corrupt group of politicians, like, I don't know, the commission board, if they were cheating or they had intentions to cheat, they could do so, which is what they did. But we have a system set in place to prevent. Brenda, why are you interrupting me? We have a system set up in place. Okay, that's what they maybe did. We have a system set in place where the individual citizens that work there fact check it to make sure it's authentic. They threw that out the window. It's illegal.
They were already fact checked at West Grand Boulevard.
So basically, you're saying that if the people that are in question of if they cheated or not, they're the ones that are allowed to tell us that they didn't cheat. That's what you're saying. Let's go ask a murderer if he murdered someone.
Christopher Thomas, elections editor, revealed that there was no need because the signatures at the TCF Center had already been reviewed and determined at the Detroit election headquarters.
Okay, Brenda, we got that. Okay, Brenda, we got that. So do you have the actual election protocol? Do you know if that's proper or improper? Because we can't go forward with this discussion until we know the laws and whether or not that's proper or improper, or if there's
it's illegal.
You don't know what Michigan's election laws say.
Yeah, I do. It's illegal.
No, you don't know that. Every state has different rules.
It's illegal, Brenda.
No, you don't know that.
Brenda, do you know that it is legal?
It would be mentioned in this
so Brenda hasn't read the actual affidavit. She doesn't know if it's legal, and she's defending the actions and the story and the narrative from an article and not the affidavit itself. What a shocker.
I love how you caught in a lie and then you have to immediately...
I didn't... Wait. How am I caught in a lie? I said there's an affidavit of a woman that worked at a precinct, and they told her not to check the signatures. What did I lie about, Gamma?
If you're saying somebody lied, just present the truth and show that they deceived and lied. I mean, could we get some counterfactual evidence other than just slander and hearsay?
No, of course not.
That was proof that the election was rigged.
That's not what I said. I said there's evidence that has articulated probable cause, and Brenda's saying that doesn't exist and we shouldn't even look into it. It's all just a crazy conspiracy theory because she reads biased articles. She doesn't actually read the affidavit. I have the affidavit in my hand, though, Brenda, so why haven't you read it yet?
Reason Magazine is pretty well respected.
But why don't you just read the actual affidavit, Brenda, instead of trying to find some way that an article that justifies why it isn't valid? Why don't you read the actual affidavit, the actual evidence of the sworn first-hand testimony? Because you don't want to know the truth, you're biased.
Full story.
Cool story? This is a sworn affidavit with someone facing perjury, bruh.
It's the full story. The full story is that what she didn't know is that those ballots had already been pre-checked for the signatures. So there was no need.
All right, I'm just going to read it then. I'll just read it then because you're obviously scared of the truth, which is not a shocker. So my name is Jesse Jacob. I was an adult citizen and resident of the state of Michigan. I've been an employee for the city of Detroit for decades. I was assigned to work in the election department for the 2020 election. I received training from the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan regarding the election process. I worked at the election headquarters for most of September, and I started working at a satellite location for most of October 2020. I processed absentee ballot packages as he sent to the voters while I worked in the election headquarters in September 2020 along with the 70 to 80 other poll workers. I was instructed by a supervisor to adjust the mailing date of those absentee ballot packages to be dated earlier than they were actually sent. The supervisor was making announcements for all workers to engage in this practice. At the satellite location, I processed voter registrations and issued absentee ballots for people to vote in person at the location. I directly observed on a daily basis the City of Detroit election workers and employees coaching and trying to coach votes to vote for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. I witnessed the workers and employees encouraging voters to do a straight Democratic ballot. I witnessed these election workers and employees going over to the voting booths with voters in order to watch them and to coach them for whom to vote. During the last 2 weeks while working at the satellite location, I was specifically instructed by my supervisor not to ask for a driver's license or any photo ID when a person was trying to vote. That's just number 9. There's numerous ones. So let's start right there. Which part of that is okay, Brenda?
The predating was definitely okay.
So to change the mail-in vote to a date that it wasn't actually sent on so that it meets the parameters of being sent in by a certain day, thus literally lying to count the vote that wouldn't be counted if you didn't change it, that's okay?
Yes, it is okay, because as the state elections director Christopher Thomas says, as to the allocations of predating, Mr. Thomas explains that this action completed a data field inadvertently left blank during the initial absentee ballot verification process. The entries reflected the date the city received the absentee ballot.
Okay.
So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about filling in an empty date or changing a date that originally said the 4th to the 3rd so that it's in on time and counts? What are we talking about here?
This is what they did. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court, and they said that they were going to accept ballots beyond the post date that's legally allowed, which is by November 3rd at 8 p.m., which is how it's been in America forever. But no, this is a new year. We get to make up new fucking rules. So what the new rule is that it has to be post dated by like 3 days afterwards, which was actually an unconstitutional ruling by the Supreme Court. But even with that, they still went even further than that, and she was instructed to just, when it wasn't dated properly or within the time it had to be, to change the date to where it would be accepted as valid. Literally, that's what she said she had to do. But Brenda wasn't there, hasn't read the affidavit, but knows that that's wrong. In addition, Brenda, I want you to answer this question, please.
I've been reading it with you.
Okay, Brenda, I want you to answer this question, please. Wherever she was told, it says right here, I was specifically...
Do you wear underwear or do you wear panties, Brenda? We want to know.
Fucking piece of shit.
Hey, Brenda,
just
I got a question for you.
Idiot.
Yeah. Brenda, I got a question for you. I want to know if you can say that this, if you're willing to be honest enough to disavow this. It says, I was specifically instructed by my supervisor not to ask for a driver's license or any photo ID when a person was trying to vote.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, so you don't have to validate your identity when you vote in an American election? So anybody can vote.
You realize that they had those ballots had already been processed for that.
No. This is when they came in to vote. She was instructed not to request or demand identification of the voter.
But no, you don't have to identify yourself. Of course not. Have you ever voted?
Yeah, you do have to identify yourself.
No, you don't.
So you can log yourself in privately.
No, you don't even have to do that. You show up, you write your name in a logbook, and you sign your name next to your address. That's all you do.
Okay,
so you don't have to prove your identity?
No, of course not. You never voted, have you, Witzik?
No, I don't think we're taking occultic rituals.
So you have no idea what one has to do you?
So are you saying it's a good practice to not verify the identity of the voters just to count anybody?
I'm saying it's the law.
No, the law is that a non-American citizen can't fucking vote in our election. That's what the law is.
Yes, I know.
So how can you validate if someone's an American citizen if you don't identify them?
But you don't.
Wait, how can you validate if someone's an American citizen if they're not identified, though?
What's it? Different question.
Oh, you can't answer that question, can you?
No, the question up for debate right now. The question is, do you have to show a driver's license or some kind of identification to vote? No, you don't.
You have to validate the identity.
Why do you think that they were talking about having to show a photo ID when you vote?
Again. No, you don't have to show an ID to vote.
In what state? And what state are you talking about then?
California for sure.
Oh my
Michigan
God.
too, obviously.
Californians have lost their minds. They have lost their minds.
You know how they do
36 of the states. 36 of the states.
Where you go to specific polling stations. Okay, so
35.
if you're registered to vote, you're going to go to a specific polling station. If you've already voted, they're not going to let you vote again.
They actually did let them vote again in this election, though, Kosha.
And vote in their states.
Anyway, so a total of 36 states have laws requesting or requiring voters to show form of identification at the polls, 35 of which are enforced in 2020, North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. The remaining 14 states use other... I'm still talking.
How about Michigan?
I'm still talking, though. the remaining 14 states, use other methods to verify the identity of voters. Most frequently, other identifying information provided at the polling place, such as a signature, is checked against information on file. You have to verify the identity of the voters.
A signature? Yeah, a signature, right?
No, it says compared to the information on file, which means they've already got your identification on file, and they're comparing the signatures. Oh my God, you're gonna go down swinging, huh? I'm reading the law right now, dude. I'm reading the actual law, dude.
California. Like he voted probably a few weeks ago in California.
No, but it says right here that even in California, it says right here, the 36 states and all the remaining 14 states. That means every single state has a law where you have to verify the identity of the voter.
But Witsit.
What do you think I did to vote? Hold on for a second, Linda. Witsit, what do you think I did to register to vote?
You're already on file. They already have your identity. So whenever you go in there,
register to vote?
You didn't have to do much if you've already verified your identity in the past.
No, to register to vote. What do you think I had to do?
If you verified your identity in the past, then you can just sign up to register to vote. If you haven't, you have to provide proof of your identity to register to vote initially. Because I almost did it this year. I know that for a fact.
In other words, you have no idea, do you?
I just answered. You just have to sign up. That's all you have to do.
What do you have to do?
But if you're not already on file, you have to verify your identity to register to vote.
I was on file.
You were on file because you've already validated your identity before, Brenda.
Yes.
Nope.
So
so when you come in, you have a signature which is exclusively just yours, right? So they can actually compare that to the signature you have on file and your identity and your driver license on file to verify your identity. If you've never voted, if you've never validated your identity to be an American citizen, you can't vote until you validate it. That's the fucking law.
I was pre-registered. I literally walked in, gave them my name, and recited my birth date and address. They handed the paper to me. I signed it. I signed in. I didn't show ID at all, and I walked over to a voting machine and voted.
Whenever you registered, did you have to validate your identity?
I was pre-registered, yes.
Yeah, when you registered, did you have to show your ID, Brenda?
I did it over the internet.
Did you have to show your ID?
It was. I don't remember how it was.
I remember. I know you did. I do know.
I just did it a couple of days ago. I just had to do it a couple of days ago because I had to renew my license, and you don't have to show them anything when you're doing that.
Renew your license has nothing to do with this at all.
Yes, it does actually. I know you've never done this before, so you might want to listen to people who've done this.
You can't register to vote in America until you prove you're an American citizen, Kosho. That's the whole point.
I don't remember. They might have texted me back to determine where I was calling.
Hey, you can't vote in an American.
Why y'all giving such a hard time? This is just
objective. Yeah, you can't vote in an American election unless you verify that you're an American citizen.
I did. I was already pre-registered, so then I walked in.
Okay, Brenda, but we're talking about the people that weren't pre-registered, that came in by the thousands, and they were instructed not to validate their identity.
How are they registered to vote then?
They can't. You don't have to be registered to vote. You can come in there in the moment and then vote. You don't have to be registered to vote before that day.
But yeah, then of course you do with it.
And actually, that's depending on the different precincts and the different cities.
You cannot walk in and vote.
Detroit did let you do that this year, though, so you never research anything because you people are idiots.
No.
Isn't that the provisional?
No, is his answer. Nuh-uh.
Isn't that the provisional?
You're just wrong. What other odds could there be?
Provisional ballots when you come in and you try to vote, but you had already voted before then. So they set those to the side because you just forgot you voted. Okay? That's different. That's totally different. But then certain precincts allowed in-day registration. Day of registration this year. Okay? Day
Which ones?
of Detroit and Philadelphia. But you didn't research it, but you know I'm wrong, I guess. What?
Well, you have a habit of making shit up. Most of the stuff you say is wrong. So
you just tried to say you don't have to verify your identity to vote in an American election. You want to talk about making shit up?
No, you said that you had to produce photo ID.
Yeah, when you register, you have to prove your identity, dude.
Nope.
Not. Oh my God, you people are ridiculous, dude. So you're saying that any single person that's not an American citizen can just go vote in an American election easy?
They can register, probably. And if they get caught, they'll go to jail.
So you really are an idiot. You're this desperate to say I'm wrong that you're going to say the stupidest shit. Like, it doesn't matter what corner you get backed into, you're going to double down.
I'm not backing in any corner.
Y'all are so desperate that this election wasn't fraudulent that y'all are going to argue that you have to verify your identity to vote in an American election. You're not allowed to vote unless you're an American citizen, dude.
Yeah, coming from the person who's never voted.
Oh, I'm reading all the laws, dude.
I don't care. I know
So
what I
you don't
did.
care. You didn't read the laws. I'm reading the laws. You don't know anything about it, but you know I'm wrong. Is that a good summary?
Well, the provisional ballot.
Pretty much.
The reasons for provisional ballots are the voter's name does not appear on the electoral roll for the given precinct because the voter is not registered to vote or is registered to vote elsewhere. The voter's eligibility cannot be established or has been challenged.
Hey, why would you ever have to instruct your employees to not check the IDs? That's my question. Why would you ever do that?
So
I think it's not the law.
So you can get away with any. So what you're saying is
it's not the law. That's the answer, Witsit.
No, it is the law that you have to verify your identity to vote in the American citizen. I'm reading the law, dumbass.
Nope.
Oh, nuh-uh. So the law's wrong. Is that what you're saying?
No, you're wrong.
So
You can't
I'm
read.
reading the law, though.
What's the law? Tell me the law.
Okay, so I'll just read what it says. So, again, the a total of 36 states have laws requesting or requiring voters to show some form of identification. The remaining 14 states use other methods to verify the identity of voters. You're telling me they don't have to verify the identity of voters, though?
Well, it is an important
Double down.
There's an important word in there which is request because
No. The remaining 14 states use other methods to verify the identity of voters.
Let me finish. Because some states request it, but they don't demand it. So the states where a photo ID is required strict are Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. And then there's Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Louisiana, Michigan, Rhode Island, South Dakota, and Texas, where photo ID is requested, but it's not strict, it says here.
There we go.
And then,
okay.
Hang on.
Argument over with it.
No, it's not, you dumbass.
And then there's the same for non-photo ID. There are Arizona, North Dakota, and Ohio are strict on non-photo ID, and then there's a whole load of states that are not strict on non-photo ID, and then there's a whole load. Hang on. There's a whole load more states, 17 in fact, not I think you said 14, where there's no ID required to vote at the ballot box.
Okay, but do they require verification of identity? Yes or no?
I'm sure they do.
Okay, thank you. He's saying that you don't need it. He's saying that's not true.
That's not what you said.
I said they have to verify the identity of the voters. I said that in 14 of them, they don't require or even request the identity, but they have other ways of doing it. One of the ways is checking the person's signature in person against the information on the file. It says the remaining 14 states, I'm just going to talk over you. The remaining 14 states use other methods to verify the identity of voters.
Yep.
You are not allowed to vote in the American election until you verify your American citizenship.
What was the claim on the affidavit?
The claim was that she was instructed not to look at IDs.
Okay.
Okay.
So why? Because she doesn't have to, right? Because it's not the law in Michigan.
Or maybe because, or is there another reason? Maybe is there a potential other reason?
Did we not just reach the conclusion that it's not the law in Michigan to look at IDs?
But the point is that it's a tip. No, it's not a law.
No, that's not the point. The point is the person was instructed to follow the law, right?
No, she was instructed. No, just because it's not a law doesn't mean that they don't. Listen, man, she knows what she's talking about. I think she knows what she's talking about more than the dumbass that hasn't even read the affidavit yet. I'm going to go on a limb and say she said she worked there for decades. I'm still talking. She said she worked there for decades.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. You're still talking.
She said she worked there for decades, but this was the first time. She said that she worked there for decades, and this was the first time she was instructed not to ask for ID.
Okay.
Oh, but that doesn't matter. I'll just throw it out. Throw it out.
She was told to follow the law, right?
You're just gonna keep saying the same dumb remedial like 5-year-old thing.
Is it wrong?
Did I ever say that it was a Pennsylvania law?
5-year-old thing I say wrong.
Did I ever say it was a Pennsylvania law? Did I ever say that? Did I ever say that? Did I ever say that?
No, we're talking about Michigan.
Okay, did I ever say it was a Michigan law? Did I ever say that?
You seem to think that this affidavit
Oh, that's right. I didn't say that. That's right. So anyway,
Are people everywhere eligible to vote in the United States?
No, you have to prove your identity as an American citizen.
Eligibility.
No, you don't.
That's right.
Oh my God, Jim! Do you see what's happening? He's arguing it again.
Yeah, you don't have to prove your identity.
Oh well, then so the law is wrong. Then is what you're saying.
What is one standard of eligibility?
That when they come in, they'll take your signature. They take your signature. They compare it to information on file. So say they already have your driver's license on file.
Is the standard.
They have access to the DMV's database. They can compare your signature on your license to your in-person signature. That's one of the ways that they verify it.
But they don't compare it to anything.
Isn't Michigan that is in a big lawsuit right now for deleting their scanned?
Pretty sure citizenship is also one of the standards of
yeah, of course.
eligibility.
Well, but let me guess. That's not true either.
So
hey, Brendan, the other dude, is that true? Do you have to be a citizen? You have to prove citizenship? Yes or no?
No, you'd have to prove it. No.
Oh, this guy's such an idiot, dude.
Dude, I know what I did.
Yeah, you don't have to bring your citizenship papers to
yeah, because it's already on file, Brenda.
Nope.
Okay, well, if it's already on file, it wouldn't be on file if you weren't already a U.S. citizen, now would it?
It was verified, exactly. At some point, it was.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you understand that in Detroit, okay, what you're talking about, people can't go up and just register at any location. There's like 20 specific satellite locations where they had the option beforehand up until the day of to register and also do an absentee vote there. Those are special circumstances.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If she wasn't working at one of those places, there's no reason.
She was though. She was working
at a satellite. She was working at a satellite.
She said she worked at a satellite. She said she looked at a satellite location. I just read that in the affidavit, dude. And there's there's a list of like 20 of these things, and you people are arguing. You didn't even read the affidavit yet, and you people are arguing
it. Registering though.
Can I get one more question in, then I'll be done?
No.
Do you know what Trump's Trump campaign's record in court right now is with regard to these files?
Most of the cases weren't even actually about the voter fraud itself, so you people don't know what you're talking about.
What's his record right now?
It doesn't matter because all the cases that are actually still that are big are still going on.
So 1 in 29 doesn't matter to you then?
No, because for example, one of those.
I'm done. Good point.
Yeah, you're an idiot. One of the ones that are classified in the other 28 is one of a win. It was a win. It got thrown out of court because the people stepped down off the board. They didn't have to go through the court because once they filed the lawsuit, they stepped down. So the court case got thrown out. It was no longer applicable because they weren't on the board anymore. That's a win.
Well, I mean, you just think that if they had so much of the law on their side, they'd be winning more of these cases, right?
Oh, yeah, you can't ever respond with specificity, but you're dominating me right now, dude.
I don't need to respond with specificity. I read trying with the court
No, you can't even say the word. Shut up.
Whitson, did you hear about the $1 billion lawsuit, I think, against Michigan for them deleting the scanned screenshot documents of every, when the votes are put in, they're scanned, but they deleted every one. So they broke some type of law to where they have to keep all documents when the voting's done, and they deleted them. And there's like $1 billion lawsuit going on.
I'm sure that doesn't matter either, though, bro. That's not a big deal. They're allowed to delete it, dude. They're allowed to delete it. That doesn't mean they're cheating. They're hiding all the evidence. That doesn't mean they're cheating.
What would be the point?
So you're just a biased little clown.
Do you think they're going to win that lawsuit? Just out of curiosity.
Do you think that they're going to not listen to sworn affidavits? That's what I want to know.
The guy that's suing them.
Do you think there's a chance of them winning?
Listen.
Yeah.
The guy that,
they're going to win. All right.
The guy that sued him, right? He just won.
Funny.
The guy that sued him just won because they went against him when he was running. And what happened was, he had his whole Facebook thing going on. And when he posted that they were deleting the scanned documents, the town, whoever was in charge, I'll post the thing, but they got a hold of Facebook and said, pretty much shut this dude down. Well, it was the guy who was running. His main way of getting out was using Facebook, and they shut his Facebook page down. So he went to court, and he actually won. The judge was like, "Why in the world would y'all have a team and y'all have some type of special connection with Facebook?" I'll have to post it on here. It's pretty interesting.
Wait,
it doesn't matter though. They're going to hand wave dismiss that too, dude, because
we're
none of this
talking
matters.
about Facebook now. This is a suit against Facebook.
You're an actual idiot, dude. So
well, it's just showing how that. Never mind.
Dude, you guys gotta keep your story straight. Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you. Do you approve? Hey, do you approve the? Hey, do you approve the act of
high tension here?
Okay, well, the affidavit says, I witnessed these election workers and employees going over to the voting booth with voters in order to watch them vote and coach them for whom to vote. If that's true, is that okay too?
No, that'd be illegal probably.
Okay, so should we look into it if one of the employees claims that's what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, bring it to court. Lose again.
Oh, it is in court, buddy. So.
I know.
I observed a large number of people who came to the satellite location to vote in person, but they had already applied for an absentee ballot. These people were allowed to vote in person and were not required to return the mailed absentee ballot or sign an affidavit with the voter lost the mailed absentee ballot. What about that? Is that okay?
Let's see how that goes in court. No,
okay, what about this one then? Okay, whenever I process an absentee...
The court will decide, right?
Whenever I process an absentee voter application or in-person registration, I was instructed to input the person's name, address, and date of birth into the qualified voter file system. The QVC system can be accessed and edited by any election processor with proper credentials in the state of Michigan at any time and from any location with internet access. Is that okay?
Doesn't that information only seem useful if it leads somewhere else?
Yeah,
that information
that's what I'm
on
saying.
its own is not very interesting.
But dude, Kosho, this is the affidavit to get the articulation of probable cause in court to be granted access to go look into all the evidence. What do you mean it's not fucking important?
That doesn't sound like probable cause. That thing you just stated just sounds like fact. It just sounds like a fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, probable cause of them cheating, dude. Probable cause of them cheating, Kosho.
It's not probable cause of them cheating. That's the ability for somebody to be able to do something. Now what you need is the actual evidence that somebody maybe did something. But if you're just saying that,
but you have to go to court and get access to that information. But you have to go. No, what about where they went and coached the voters on who to vote for, Kosho? Is that cheating?
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Dude. If we're being honest,
I'm being honest. That's why I stated the thing about the thing I just heard. But the other part, I just got here. I don't know which other part you're talking about.
Right, like, you're right that just the fact that they put it in the system doesn't prove that they fucking actually went in and manipulated it. The point is that she's saying that it could have been. She's giving her account that she's a limited amount of information. She's just one employee. She gives a list of all the things that they told her to do, clearly to rig the election in her opinion. And so they're going to go to court with a sworn affidavit, and they're trying to get probable cause articulated so the judge grants them access to the evidence.
Except Witsit, the Reason article that I posted several times gives additional information which calls into question a lot of the things that she says in the affidavit.
All right, what about the one where they coach voters?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Brenda, you don't know. So you just want to ignore that one then, Brenda?
Yeah.
Thank you for showing your bias for the 50th time.
Well, what about what Brenda had just said, though? Are you going to ignore that?
She just said that an article a mainstream article tried to write off that the election might have been stolen. I'm shocked, bro. Oh my God. What an enlightening piece of information from Brandon.
Reason is mainstream.
Yeah, Coach,
Seems a
we
bit
need
biased.
one more person to jump on
Well,
with
Reason Magazine is pretty reputable. Reason Magazine is pretty reputable, and they give additional information quoting people who are higher up than she was and saying that, for instance, the reason they were backdated is because that's when they came. That's when they received them, and the reason that they didn't check signatures is because they had already been checked.
But if those are the people that cheated, okay, if there was cheating, those would have been the people that were organizing the cheating. So you can't just dismiss the information by going and asking the potentially guilty party what happened, Brenda.
Why are you talking like this?
Because I feel like I have to talk like a 5-year-old for people to understand the simplicity and objectivity of what I'm saying.
You don't.
Promise you don't.
It's not like you like
Everybody else talks
You've been-
normally with it.
No one can respond. Watch, no one will respond.
I'm asking, do you mind if you could post that affidavit that you have?
Sure.
Wits, I don't want to ask Wits a question for 3 hours. Just one little question. I'm sorry if I divert from the high tension that seems to be desirable.
Get it over with.
Witsit,
Ask
earlier
already.
when y'all said you were like, oh, you're a good gamma. Did y'all just come up with that, or have y'all done that before? Because that was hilarious. That's the first time I heard it.
That was in the moment. Yeah.
It says it about every 2 minutes. What are you
I've never
talking
said
about?
you're a good gamer. I've never said that before.
If that's some new shit, that's some new hot shit right there, bro. That's funny as hell.
He says it like 15 times a day.
Okay,
But I never said
that's
that, though. I never said...
Like 15 times an hour.
Well, a gamma is a mid-low tier male who is under the alphas and the betas, the top tier, most sexually appealing to heterosexual women sort of male. He's the lowest status when it comes to social acceptability. Below that, you have the omegas who are outcasts and don't care for the hierarchy. And you have the lambdas, the homosexuals, and you have the sigmas, which are totally pariah and totally do not care for social interaction in any way, shape, or form.
So the one I read said that the gammas are something, and it says the alphas may one day evolve into a gamma.
Yeah, that's what
Like
a
it's like
gamma
the
wrote.
next level of an alpha.
A gamma wrote that definition.
But I mean, these are all just,
How many of these points actually held up in court?
Well, this is just the point is that
none of
the judge. Well, yeah, because the judge would have to actually grant access to go look at the evidence to follow up on the
You didn't
allegations.
answer the You didn't answer the question.
I did answer the question. The way it would be held up in court is because this would be what is allowing them to grant access to go validate the claims.
Can I just say a quick hello to RC Meisty? Hi, mate.
What's up, Becky? So, none of them have been held up in court though currently? Is that
Well, they're all just now going to court.
Fun. Okay.
Well, we've already
Let me guess. You know that this affidavit is a lie because you're omniscient like Brenda?
Let it go.
It's just ridiculous. This is so blatantly obvious you people are dishonest that is blowing my mind right now. You people have no
I
shame.
would just like to know how many have been held up in court, and if they
They're
have,
just now getting to court.
They're still in court.
They just started going to court.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be settled by the court, and then we'll all move on.
Well, no,
Okay,
then
so
all
I'm
these people will
seeing
say
here-
that the court stole it. Brenda will say that the court stole it from Joe Biden. Brenda will say that Trump used his power to steal it from Joe Biden. That's what these people in the room don't have it in them to be honest.
We literally have
yourself,
that's
man.
not going to
Let
happen.
us speak for ourselves.
That won't happen.
Yeah, because they're very big Biden supporters. He's such an upstanding presidential.
Yeah, sniffing
man,
kids.
you know?
Yeah, dude, what a
He's
good
really
guy.
Great. He's really
grabbing little girls' boobs. What a good guy.
articulate. He's
So we literally have Lindsey Graham
vibrant.
trying to bully officials into reversing the election. Lindsey Graham.
Oh God.
Oh, you're so
maybe.
boring, Brenda. You have no individual take on anything. You're just repeating what you heard on news constantly. You have no individual take on
Well,
anything.
her opinion. She's allowed to have an opinion with it.
But her opinion is just to come in with no specificity for 2 straight hours and say, this is all fake. This is all dumb. This is not going to happen. That's all she's done. All she's done is read a CNN article and then come and say it with conviction over and over,
Actually,
derailing the conversation away from substantive specificity. While I'm reading the affidavit off word for word, her rebuttal is, oh, it's just all stupid. And we should
That's
accept
not
that,
my
I guess.
rebuttal. My rebuttal was to look up a Reason article that specifically names her allegations and gives additional information that calls those allegations into question.
Like the one where they coached all the voters to vote a certain way? Well, no. That's what I'm reading this now, man, and I'll be honest, when you said it to me, it sounded, like it was probably some crimes going on here. But as I'm reading it, I'm assuming that so if there's two things, the one the dates for the absentee ballot or that take those in, that seems like that's definitely not right to do. But I bet you that's not the only place that had done that, and they probably would have done it for either side. Whoever, it's either side who could have been doing this. I'm assuming more than just this precinct was doing that. And then also where it says that they were coaching voters, it didn't say this is a policy that they were doing. It just said some of the people working there, some of the people doing the same job she was doing, was engaged in maybe trying to influence the voters.
But that's illegal.
Which is probably not what you're meant to be doing, but it's what everyone's there. Like when I voted the time before last, there's people in line talking the whole time, trying to convince people still in line. like how to vote. Not the people working there, but and so I don't think that's akin to an actual policy of
It's
them.
against the law.
It's against the law. Yeah, of course. It is against the law, but I don't think that it's like a top down thing. Like they were advised to coach the people. I think that they were just coaching the people.
But
then the girl said that all the workers were told the same thing.
She didn't say otherwise.
She said the supervisor told all the employees these instructions at the same time. That's what she said.
No, it doesn't say that.
Yes, it does.
I was instructed to adjust the mailing dates. That's what it says her instructor said. But then it said I observed.
Does it say that they were all instructed? All the workers were instructed at the same time? Because it says that in the affidavit.
Yeah, to change the dates.
Okay, do you know that that's also illegal? Did you know that that's also illegal?
Yeah, I stated that. That's the first thing I said.
Well, we've covered two blatant election crimes, dude.
I clearly stated that. And then I also stated that whenever she said she observed people influencing voters, it wasn't something that was a policy decision or like they told them to do this. This is what people were just engaging in. Which is wrong to do, but
yeah, because they were just all on the same page that they had to cheat, dude. Like, come on, dude. Jesus. Like, if they didn't give a piece of paper that wrote down instructions to cheat, then that means they didn't cheat?
No, I'm saying that it's not a top-down instruction to do this to the voters. They probably were even advised not to do it.
No, they weren't.
All it says is that she saw people doing it.
They were not advised not to do it.
I mean, I'm sure it's in the rules not to do that.
But they were advised against the rules, though.
Why can't we just let the court settle this and then, and
that's
not
what I
worry
said.
about it?
Yeah, I agree.
They're throwing them out of court with prejudice.
Okay, well, it's not over yet, so you know that, Brenda. You have to accept that it's not over yet. So
they're not throwing them out of court, though. They're about to throw 300,000 votes out. Wisconsin's already won. Wisconsin's going to flip already without even filing a lawsuit because too many of the votes, according to Wisconsin law, are illegal. So Wisconsin's going to flip 100%. 100%.
Okay, so what's it here?
Boy.
Cool.
All right, you want to bet $1,000 on it? The guy that's laughing, you want to bet $1,000 on it in front of everybody?
What's it? Quick.
What? $5,000. You want to bet $5,000 on it?
To save your life.
Yeah, I do have $5,000. You want to bet $5,000 on it?
No, you don't.
Okay, do you want to bet $1,000 on it? Make it 10,000. You pick a number, Mr. Smart Guy.
Flip, sure.
Okay, so you want to bet $1,000 that Wisconsin flips?
Will you be convinced
Sure.
that the court doesn't uphold it? What's it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I don't care. That's the whole point. The only thing that I want is for a fair shot of the information because I know for a fact that this isn't new. That Democratic parties have been, Democratic cities have been cheating in elections for years, dude. This has been proven in court. People have gone to prison for it. You moron. What are you laughing about? There are people still in prison for it.
Laughing at you.
But there are people still in prison for it, though. There are people still in prison for it, though. But what about the people in prison, though?
Because everybody here knows you're a joke.
There ain't 8 million of them in prison for it.
What about the people that are in prison for cheating? What about that?
There ain't 8 million of them.
They caught them and they went to jail. Good for them. They deserve all the punishment they get.
But when I said that, Democratic cities have been cheating for years, you laughed, and literally it's been proven in the court of law and people went to prison for it. Only in major Democratic metropolitan areas.